The 2026 Chevy Suburban is still one of the biggest, most expensive family SUVs you can buy in America. And for a lot of buyers, it looks like the safest choice. But after digging into real ownership costs, daily usability, and long-term trade-offs, there are some problems most reviews don't talk about, and a few of them could be deal breakers. Why the 2026 Suburban still matters. The Chevrolet Suburban isn't just another SUV, it's basically an American institution. For decades, the Suburban has been the default answer for large families, road trip warriors, towing needs, and buyers who simply don't want compromises on space. Police departments, government fleets, and suburban households all rely on it for the same reason. It does everything all at once. For 2026, Chevy doesn't reinvent the formula, but it does refine it. You're getting updated tech, subtle interior improvements, familiar V8 and diesel powertrains, and the same massive footprint that's made the Suburban both legendary and intimidating. The real question isn't whether the 2026 Suburban is capable. It absolutely is. The real question is whether owning one still makes sense in 2026, especially with rising fuel costs, tighter parking, and better alternatives than ever. Let's break down the 5 biggest real-world problems buyers should know before signing anything. 5 main problems. Ownership-focused. Problem number 1. The size is a daily burden, not just a flex. Everyone knows the Suburban is big. What fewer people admit is how often that size becomes exhausting. At over 18 feet long, the 2026 Suburban doesn't just feel large, it demands constant attention. Parking garages, older shopping centers, tight school pickup lanes, and downtown streets all turn into small stress tests. Even with parking sensors and a 360-degree camera, you're still wrestling physics. Parallel parking is rarely an option. Compact parking spots are a joke, and if you live in a city or older suburb, you'll constantly be choosing parking convenience over destination convenience. This isn't something you get used to overnight. Many owners say they love the Suburban on highways and road trips, but tolerate it everywhere else. If your daily life includes tight spaces, short trips, or crowded neighborhoods, the Suburban can feel overkill very quickly. Problem number 2. Fuel costs are still painful, no matter the engine. Chevy gives you options, a gas V8 and a diesel inline-6. But here's the reality, none of them are cheap to run. The V8 delivers smooth power and confidence, especially when towing, but fuel economy in real-world driving often lands well below what buyers expect. Short trips, city driving, and stop-and-go traffic absolutely punish this SUV. The diesel improves highway efficiency and towing range, but it introduces higher upfront cost, pricier maintenance, and more expensive fuel in many states. It only makes sense if you drive long distances regularly or tow often. For families upgrading from a mid-size SUV or crossover, the fuel shock can be real. Monthly gas costs jump noticeably, especially if this is your daily commuter, not just a weekend hauler. The Suburban doesn't pretend to be efficient, but many buyers still underestimate how much that impacts the household budget over time. Problem number 3. Interior quality doesn't fully match the price. This one surprises a lot of buyers. The 2026 Suburban can easily push $70,000 to $85,000 when optioned the way most families want. At that price point, expectations are high and not always met. Yes, the cabin is spacious. Yes, the screens are big and modern. Yes, it's comfortable on long drives, but when you start touching materials, especially in lower and mid trims, you'll notice plenty of hard plastics, basic switchgear, and design elements that feel more fleet vehicle than luxury SUV. Compared to rivals like the Ford Expedition or higher-end SUVs from Jeep and Toyota, the Suburban sometimes feels like it's charging premium money for durability, not refinement. For buyers stepping up from older Suburbans, this may feel familiar. For buyers coming from luxury crossovers, it can feel underwhelming. Problem number 4. Ride quality is great until the road gets rough. On smooth highways, the Suburban is excellent, stable, quiet, confident. It's one of the best long-distance cruisers in the segment. But on rough pavement, potholes, or uneven city streets, that massive body and long wheelbase start working against it. Even with available adaptive suspension, the Suburban can feel busy and unsettled over broken roads. This is especially noticeable when the vehicle isn't loaded with passengers or cargo. An empty Suburban doesn't ride like a luxury SUV. It rides like a large truck-based vehicle because that's exactly what it is. For families doing mostly city driving or school runs, the ride may feel harsher than expected for such an expensive vehicle. Problem number 5. Ownership costs add up fast. Beyond fuel, there's the bigger ownership picture. Tires are expensive and wear faster than expected. Brakes are large and costly. Insurance premiums are higher than mid-size SUVs. Repairs outside warranty aren't cheap. The Suburban is reliable overall, but it's not a low-cost vehicle to maintain. When something goes wrong, parts and labor reflect the vehicle's size and complexity. This isn't a vehicle you buy casually. It demands commitment, not just at purchase, but every year you own it. Many long-term owners are happy with the trade-off, but first-time full-size SUV buyers often feel surprised by how quickly costs stack up. Who should buy versus who should skip? You should buy the 2026 Chevy Suburban if you regularly carry 6 to 8 people plus cargo. You do long road trips and highway driving, you tow boats, campers, or trailers, you want maximum interior space without going commercial. For large families, outdoor lifestyles, and towing needs, the Suburban still makes a ton of sense. There are very few vehicles that can do all of that at once as confidently. You should skip the 2026 Chevy Suburban if most of your driving is city-based. You rarely use the third row or cargo space, fuel costs are a concern, you expect luxury-level interiors for luxury-level prices, and you don't actually need this big. In those cases, a Tahoe, Expedition, or even a 3-row crossover might deliver 90% of what you need, with far fewer compromises. The 2026 Chevy Suburban isn't outdated, and it's not overpriced by accident. It's purpose-built for buyers who genuinely need everything it offers. But it's also a vehicle that punishes indecision. If you don't need its size, power, and capacity, it will remind you every single day, at the pump, in parking lots, and in maintenance costs. For the right buyer, it's still one of the best full-size SUVs in America. For the wrong buyer, it's an expensive lesson in buying more car than life requires. If this breakdown helped you understand whether the Suburban actually fits your life, not just your wants, consider subscribing. More honest, ownership-focused reviews like this are coming.